the show, so I get that honor as well. Um, I have a very lengthy presentation, and I've tried to narrow it down to about 4 or 5 slides because we really only have about 10 minutes here. So I want to, briefly introduce you to Cambodia for those of you that don't know where it is. But first, let's start with Angkor Gold. We're TSX listed. As you can see, we're $18 million market cap with just over 100 million shares outstanding. What we've done in Cambodia, we've been there for roughly about 12 years. Myself personally, I live in the country. We've built up a rather sizable land bank, which at its peak was about 2,500 square kilometers, is now down to about 1,000 square kilometers. What we've been able to do with that is we've been able to leverage ourselves by bringing in bigger companies such as Jogmec and doing deals with other companies such as Emerald Resources. So we have 5 assets remaining in that 1,000 square kilometers, which 4 of are joint ventured on. Jogmec being obviously a base metals play. Some of you might be wondering why we're called Angkor Gold. That is a property that we've got $3 million of Jogmec's money over 3 years to spend. It is purely copper with gold credits, but really Jogmec is the base metals company. Another one that we've done too is with Emerald Resources. Their company, Australian ASX listed company, is kind of a key venture for us simply because they have or are about to have a property that is going into production, and it's the proximity to our asset that we've joint ventured with them on that makes it very interesting. So they're currently working on that property. They're the operator. It's fully in their hands. They're great operators, and the project is moving forward. We've done a 3rd joint venture on one of our other properties. It's another gold property that we have. It's a Canadian fund, Homie Resources. It's our most recent, and that's the property we're the operator on. We're going to be going out and starting a drill program here coming up, I think, within about 2 weeks. We'll have the rig spinning. And lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about another property that we have too. It's with a joint venture with, or not a joint venture, sorry. They've acquired a property from us. It's an Indian company who's gone into production. I don't want to go into any details on it. I just would like to say it was the country's first and only gold mining license. We hold a 2 to 7.5% sliding scale royalty. It is not JORC or 43-101 compliant. They're a very, very wealthy private family. So it is not standard, and therefore you can't run any numbers on this. And I just want to say, though, that it is a royalty that we should be having coming downstream here within the next, I think, probably 12 months, keeping them on track. Moving forward, we have our 5th and final asset that is not joint ventured, and that is becoming Angkor Gold's flagship property. It's one that we've kept back for ourselves. We've done the least amount of development on it, and it's going to be for our focus for the next 2 years, getting it to the place where we would be able to do a feasibility study on it, and so on and so forth. So that is Andomia. It's up in the very close to the border of Laos, where there's some very interesting things happening on the other side of the border. We're going to be doing a fundraising for that. In fact, we're going to be announcing it probably within the next 30 days. We have a dry season, a window of about 6 to 8 months, and it's going to be the focus, along with the other joint ventures and the activity that's happened, it's going to be the focus of our press releases on the results that we'll be getting out of there. I expect that we'd be drilling on that property in as well as 6 to 8 months from now as well, and with following announcements coming up following that. I've talked, more or less, I'm jumping around a little bit because we've shortened this presentation up, but I've really basically, I've already summarized essentially who our joint venture partners are, and that really is a summary of who Angkor Gold is. We've leveraged our large land package, and we team up with good companies around us to do the development. Jogmec is an $18 billion company. They've really brought in the base metals picture into Cambodia. From 10, 12 years ago when we first got there, there was really nothing happening. I mean, things were moving forward very slowly to the point now where you are starting to see where companies are going to be in production like Emerald, with the Mesco property that is in production, and they're going to be pouring bars in the very near-term future here. Again, I've more or less pretty much given you a very brief summary, and I'm going to cut my presentation a little bit short here, because if I don't go into detail on our properties, I'm going to be short selling them a little bit. But I want to invite everybody up here to our booth on the second floor, so that if you have some extra time, you do come and talk to us, because I'd love to go into more deep detail. The other and final thing I think I should mention is we are currently building up a little bit of a war chest for Angkor Gold. We are going to be moving into some other asset acquisition as a royalty generating company. We're going to be moving into some other properties, and there's some also very exciting things that we can talk about upstairs if you're interested. And that is Angkor Gold, wrapped up in a very, very brief summary. Thank you very much.